Okay, so for today's discussion, it's great to be joined by Cassandra from marketing, Adrian from BP Marine Fuels, and Sean from our technology team. So firstly, a very warm welcome. So we hear the term IMO 2020, we hear the term MARPOL 2020, we hear the term 2020 global sulphur cap. I think they all relate to the same topic, and obviously there's a major change coming in January next year. So maybe Cassandra, to start with, could you help summarise actually what is the 2020 global sulphur cap?
Yeah, thank you, Neil. So as you've referred to, there are many different ways that this new regulation is being named. But the IMO global sulphur cap is really around looking at taking the level of sulphur in the fuel down from the current level, which is a maximum of 3.5%, down to 0.5%. And this change is coming in on the 1st of January 2020, which is what gives it the name. And really, it's been designed to help support the reduction of harmful emissions coming from the shipping industry. And that's why the International Maritime Organization has put this new regulation in place.
Adrian,
yeah,
I'd like to bring you in immediately because clearly it has a big implication on fuel. There's lots of acronyms around what we call the fuels and how we abbreviate. So perhaps just before I ask you the first question, could you help explain the abbreviations and actually what the fuel types are?
Yeah, certainly. To start off, we have HSFO, which is high sulphur fuel oil, and that's where that's the fuel that's being used by the majority of the fleet globally at the moment, and that has a maximum sulphur level of 3.5%. You then have another fuel that is being used at the moment, which is MGO, marine gas oil. And a product that, like high sulphur fuel oil, is very well understood at the moment and available across the globe. The new addition is very low sulphur fuel oil, which has a maximum sulphur level of 0.5%, or also known as VLSFO. That product is primarily a blended product rather than something that's being produced straight out of a refinery. There's also then very low sulphur fuel oil is not to be confused with ultra low sulphur fuel oil, which has a maximum sulphur level of 0.1% and is used in the ECAs and was introduced for that piece of regulatory change in 2015. Then lastly, but by no means least, LNG, so liquid natural gas, which is again something that is in the market at the moment, is a developing fuel in terms of market share, and one that certainly we believe in the future, in the next 10 years, does have a place within the market, but at the moment probably only makes up 3% of bunkers burnt globally.
Great, that's very helpful for me anyway, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so now we've got some clarity. So if I'm a customer, and we're talking to our distributor partners, so if I'm a kind of vessel owner or vessel operator, what choices will I have to ensure that I'm compliant as we move into January 2020?
Yeah, no, it's a very good question, and one that ship owners have been grappling with. So broadly, there are four main fuel types and grades that can ensure that a ship owner is compliant. Firstly, they can continue to burn high sulphur fuel oil, but they must have installed what's known as a scrubber, exhaust gas cleaning system on their vessel, which does require quite a considerable investment, and there's an awful lot written in the industry press about that. The second option would be to burn marine gas oil, which is already is a very, very well-known product and widely available across the globe. The third option, and one that's causing a lot of interest and debate and discussion, is a 0.5% or maximum sulphur level fuel, which is being known in the industry as very low sulphur fuel oil. These are primarily blended products. There's a lot of debate about those, and we can come on to that later. But that's your third option for compliance. Then another, which is a bit more niche, is LNG. which we think will continue to be quite a specialised play, requires an awful lot of investment, both in terms of infrastructure and also on board the vessel. So those are your 4 options, really.